It is July 6th, 2020. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast talking about Monday Night Raw. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Raj Giri. Matt Morgan is en route and will be here shortly. Kind of an interesting Raw tonight. There were some developments, some forward motion, some surprises.
Yeah, I liked the first hour or so. I thought it. I mean, this is not meant to be anything against the Big Show, but I think once his match came on. Randy Orton did the 6-man tag. Just the show started getting a little slow for me, and then I was pretty tired by the end. But outside of that, I thought it was a lot better than last week's show.
I think the Heath Slater thing was really the linchpin, right? That was the hook tonight that made the show, at least for me, and it was sort of all downhill from there. We'll talk about that, but first we have some news to dive into.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get to the news real quick while we're waiting for Matt. First thing, congratulations to Sarah Logan. She announced that she's pregnant. Yeah. So, very cool news. So congratulations to her. She was part of the releases back in April. And yeah, she has started a YouTube channel called The Wild and Free TV. And her husband, of course, is Eric of the Viking Raiders. So congrats to them.
No, absolutely. I think that's making the best of the situation. What better time to start a family than when you're between gigs?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been talking about the COVID-19 outbreak in WWE a few weeks ago, or I guess it's been a couple weeks. It feels like a long time ago, where we first heard that there were a bunch of positive COVID cases. Now, at that time, we had heard possibly 24, possibly more. I had heard 24 was low. Another report from Pro Wrestling Sheet today says that from the testing last week, there were even more people that have tested positive for the virus last week. And so the Pro Wrestling Sheet says it's at least 30 people. Wrestling Observer saying it's possibly 40 or more. So a lot of people testing positive right now in WWE. And they've reportedly administered almost 1,500 coronavirus tests since they started in late June.
And for people to know, the reason we wouldn't know the names of this is, there's health and privacy laws, there's the HIPAA Act, and additionally, I don't think WWE wants to put names and faces to these cases. Already look at the outrage that we've seen over Renee Young and other people that we know have tested positive. I think it makes sense they're trying to keep this as quiet as possible.
Yeah, and usually in most other forms of entertainment, it's up to the athletes if they want to disclose if they've had it or not. A lot of them have done it just so people who have been around them will know, would know and know to get tested. With WWE, they have instructed talent not to tell anyone, and so obviously a few had leaked out. Renee Young, they apparently weren't happy with her leaking it, but
what are you gonna do?
Yeah. So yeah, so the COVID's continuing, but Florida is a hot spot right now, and it's just kind of a mess. So WWE is just continuing to deal with it.
Do you think it's going to get to the point where they have to stop doing shows at some point? Isn't there just some tipping point with this where they can't maintain the pace they're doing with the talent they need?
As you can see tonight, they could run a 3-hour show with the talent that they have, and they have a lot of people in developmental if they ever needed to. So I don't think that's a concern. I know SmackDown a couple weeks ago was very shorthanded. A lot of that had to do with awaiting test results and things like that. So seems like for the time being, and we'll wait and see how much bigger this outbreak gets, or if they've got it under control now. But we'll just have to wait and see. But for right now, it seems like they're fine and can move at a level where they can continue storylines and things with some obvious talent missing.
Yeah, that's the question. And I'm doing a speed test now. Here's the crazy thing, guys. This might be StreamYard, the streaming platform we're using. I'm looking at this right now. And my up speed is like 7 megabits a second. My down speed is half a gigabit a second. So I don't know why my video, I'm looking on YouTube right now and it's coming through blurry. I have no clue why that is. It might not be that on the final recorded version, but that's what I'm seeing live streaming right now.
That's what I'm seeing as well. And you sound fine though. But yeah,
Well, this is a podcast technically, so
right.
at least we have that.
We do have, but we do have a lot of viewers on the video. But it's, it's
I know, Roger. Really, what's the show without the moneymaker, my face, here forefront, with the people not being able to look at these beautiful blue eyes?
I thought we would do the reveal, take the hat off tonight, but since it's so blurry, it doesn't matter, I guess.
Look how much. I mean, you can't see. I just want to say, this is 5 days. An impressive amount of hair is already back after 5 days. I think we might be a week away from no. Although I bought all these hats, Raj. I don't even been paying attention. I got a Kangol here. Got some deal. I got a beret. I bought a variety of hats. This is the one that I probably like the most.
I had a beard mishap, so I had to shave that. I kept the goatee, but it'll be back by next week.
Mine wasn't a
worry
mishap.
Not.
Mine was literally just, I don't want to take a half an hour and feather and layer and texture to get some long hair in the front and short in the back. It's like, you know what? I'm just taking my Manscaped. I'm going for it, man. And it was fast, 10 minutes. But yes, it just took a little while for myself and the wife and the cats to get used to looking at it.
Yeah. So, are you going to grow it back, or are you going to keep it?
Yeah. No. This is just, it's hot as balls here, Raj.
All right. Yeah.
How are you doing in Colorado? How's the weather out there?
It's 90s, going to be hit 100 this week, so it's really hot.
Yeah.
So the last thing we had was Rey Mysterio. He is reportedly not under contract with WWE, and he's actually not been under contract for a few weeks. So, Mysterio, or a few months actually. So he's been working with WWE for a deal. Apparently, he had told them that he wanted a raise. Vince was saying, look, we can't give a raise right now. We've had to let people go. And so, they're working on terms for a new deal.
Yes.
So technically, if Rey wanted to, and for his, with his son involved and everything, I don't think he'd ever do this. But if he wanted to, he could show up at Impact, at Slammiversary if he wanted to. He could show up at AEW. They've taped for this week, but next week. So he's a free agent. He's not under any contract right now. So they need to get him tied up.
Sorry, and I know this is like the least viewed platform, but I just opened Twitter. And I'm seeing right now, Raj, we are crystal clear on the Periscope feed of the show. I think it's YouTube that has the issue.
No, you're clear now.
Now I am?
Whatever happened. Yeah.
Whatever happened,
Yeah, you're upstream or whatever, but yeah.
Something clicked. Antoine Fair, $5 super chat. I didn't watch Raw was working, but it came to see if the hat changed. It did. Now I just see the Kane haircut. I'm telling you, there's not going to be much of a haircut left soon. And maybe I'll just have to shave it again. Maybe that'll be my thing for the summer. Look into wigs, I think there's something with how performers do it sometimes. It's like, I don't want to deal with all this hair full time, but just for the performance. What else do we got here in the super chats? Red Fox 44. The Kangol I'm going to save for Wednesday. A different hat each time. We'll change it up. Ian Vish. Greatest rivalry since the last 5 years. In each of your responses, isn't AJ Styles the biggest star in the next 5 years, similar to Shawn Michaels? I don't know about the biggest star. First off, Raj, who do you think the biggest star in WWE is right now?
Does Roman Reigns count?
Yes, he's still signed. He's still part of the company.
Yeah, if Brock Lesnar is technically still there, it would still be Brock. I guess it depends. Are you counting Undertaker and those guys? But if we're not, if we're only counting current full-time talent, and Roman Reigns doesn't count, geez, man.
If we're counting ratings, it's Sasha Banks.
Yeah, apparently she's a mover. What's going on, Matt?
She's a mover and a shaker. What's up, guys?
He is.
How's it going?
Who do you think, Matt?
Good.
Who do you think the biggest star in WWE right now is?
The Blueprint. Oh no.
He did say Sasha.
I said Sasha.
Gosh, I think I'm leaving somebody out. Who's somebody I really?
There's technicalities. Undertaker, technically. John Cena, you could count. Roman, Raj said. I think Roman is pretty big. Becky, not active, but Becky's big.
Yeah.
We're saying active on the show right now, and if we're not counting Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Jeez.
This is done by design, though. I told you guys. This is done by design. There's no more A+ players, and they do it on purpose. Their brand is their new A+ player.
I'd argue that, yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody gets over, look what they do. Look what they did to Becky. She was lightning white hot.
Yeah, I'd argue Jeff Hardy is probably bigger than any of the new talent they've been pushing, like anyone they pushed over the last few years.
And that's residual. He has residual heat.
Right.
That's why.
Yeah.
He goes to an airport, everybody knows and is running up to Jeff Hardy. Yeah.
And greatest rivalry of the last 5 years. It's kind of tough, right? I mean, because I think the longer term rivalries, they ran into the ground. I mean, I'm trying to think of what I even think of fondly at this point that didn't get overdone. I mean, Braun and Roman, I think was like, that was the perfect length.
That was really good.
Quit it before we got sick of it.
I think we have different definitions of the biggest star, to be fair to you.
Yeah.
I am Vish, you know?
Yeah.
Because I do think AJ, what he's saying, especially depending how many more years AJ is going to go, in my opinion, is the most consistent.
Mm-hmm.
You could pull a main event with him any given time, and it's believable.
Yeah. What about greatest rivalry, though, last 5 years? Bailey versus Sasha was really good, but again, that was kind of short-lived.
Orton versus Edge was good, but never got to reach, by ending up in the empty arena era. It never got there.
And this is a problem with 50-50 booking that this generation is dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we don't remember. Let's just be honest. My face right there wasn't they weren't good. It was, holy crap, I can't remember any.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember them. It's just as far as combining storyline and matches, it's hard. Like, AJ Cena was good, but the story, it didn't really have a strong story. Man, it's, Braun and Roman was really good. That's definitely up there.
Yeah. So, want to hop into Raw?
Let's hop into Raw.
Can we talk about that hat? You think we're just going to drive by and not pay attention to the hat?
What? What's wrong with the hat? It's a Kangol.
Now you're making me feel bad. All right.
It's funny though, Matt, because yours, when you've got yours backwards like that, it looks a little like a do-rag or a skull cap.
That's what I was going for.
Hey, more power to you if you can rock it. No, I think, and there are more hats. I've explained there will be more hats throughout the week until this hair grows back. But so tonight, I thought this was a great surprise. Dolph Ziggler brought out Heath Slater to confront Drew McIntyre. They had a quick, short match, but Heath, that intensity in the promo. Now, I saw from different sources, Raj, that this was a one-off before Heath's non-compete expires. If there had been a live crowd there, I think this would have been the biggest moment in a while. Yeah, they would have re-signed him, seeing the response he would have gotten.
Yeah, and like Drake Maverick originally, when that whole thing started, that was not meant to be, he was not meant to be coming back. He wasn't under contract, so, or he was under his non-compete. So there always is the possibility that if that segment gets a high rating, or if they see the response online, that they might end up giving him a contract anyway.
So listen, fans, go boinkers online about Heath's promo. Please.
Seriously.
That was awesome. I mean, Heath was, it was believable. It combined real life with storytelling and not being too inside, so a lot of people wouldn't get it. I thought it was just I thought it was perfect. I thought it was great. Heath delivered it great. You believed everything he was saying. I thought it was really good.
Can I just point something out? And it goes toward my idea, not my idea, but everybody's idea by now, of having an off season with wrestling, or giving wrestlers time off, giving them 2 months, 3 months off, but not affecting their pay too much if you could do it, is because they come back rejuvenated. They have life experiences that have crept into their lives in that time span. Think about it. Edge's promo, he had all that time off. He came back red hot. Usually when you have that time off, you come back so just, re-energized, rejuvenated, fresh ideas. You could tell that person's excited to be back and be a part of the show again, versus being stuck in that grind that I can vouch for, where you feel like you are a zombie walking.
Yeah. And this was one of those cases where the promo did what it is designed to do. A promo is supposed to get you excited for a match. And a week ago, if you told me Heath was going to be wrestling Drew McIntyre, I wouldn't care. But after that promo, I was like, oh, cool. I want to see where they go with this. I want to see it. So it worked.
Yeah, I thought this was really good. I mean, the same issues we had with Drake Maverick and exploiting the situation, I think, definitely apply here. But I'm sorry.
Can I speak from experience? If this was an opportunity after I got my release, I wish I had this to come back and have another opportunity. To maybe hit a grand slam and maybe get my job back. I mean, I'm just being honest. I love that.
Yeah, and where you're allowed to drop the gimmick, like Heath Slater wasn't goofy, and it was cool that he was able to cut a realistic promo and.
I just speaking on to his point though, where Glenn was going with this, which is is it a shame that they're putting real life situations where people's jobs were lost here? That was that family's income.
Yeah,
lost here, no more. And now they're playing not Russian roulette, but
Right.
I know what you're saying, Glenn.
Yeah, it's a little just shameless. It's like, why not say, hey, we're going to release 3 superstars, but fans, why don't you vote on someone that we're not going to let go, and the rest are going to lose their jobs? It's a little, it's veering towards that. That makes me uncomfortable. But I mean, I saw a lot of this online, and I think this too. I think Heath is. I hope they don't re-sign Heath, because I think he could turn around Impact if he went there right now. I think in AEW he'd get lost in the shuffle, but I think that maybe there's more out there for him beyond WWE based on what we saw tonight in the response to them.
I wish I could speak on Impact and I knew what was going on. That was my old show.
Yeah.
I just don't know what that show is. I don't know who's even on it, honestly.
Yeah, that's why I think he'd be a draw. I could almost see WWE re-signing him off tonight just so no one else gets him.
Yes,
because he's got some fire now.
But then he may want that. I don't know. I could again from experience. I know it wouldn't have worked for me.
Yeah.
Maybe my ego was too big. I don't know. I don't think I could have just been a guy that hung out, in catering and whatnot. I also didn't have a child. I was much younger. Me and my wife were just newly married, maybe about a year. So I was still renting. You know what I mean? I was still growing up as a man.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to go out there, and I was like, screw this. I'm going to shove this so far where the sun doesn't shine, and I'm going to prove them wrong. And I'm going to go elsewhere to do it. First, I was like, I'm going to do it in New Japan, but then it's like, wrestling the Tokyo Dome, that was a big deal. Yuji Nagata, big deal. Not everybody gets to beat Yuji Nagata, but they're not sitting there watching that. American fans weren't watching that. It wasn't until I got to TNA where I had my opportunity to do that. But in retrospect, now with a family, would I have taken maybe an opportunity to go back and just chill in catering and not really care about my push pro? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I think one of the problems with TNA right now that you're seeing is that their roster changes every 6 months. It's completely different people.
You can't do
that. They're not able to hold on to people for a long period of time. And
one of the problems is, Raj, is that it's been Impact Wrestling for years, and we still call it TNA. That shows
they should have never changed it. Should have never changed it. And it's in Canada, right? Isn't it based in Canada now?
Oh, is it?
Well, Anthem is based in Canada. Yeah.
Where do they film TNA?
They've been filming in, I believe, in Tennessee.
Huh.
But they did do some shows, I think, last year in Canada, but or was it the year before? But
you're right. You can't emotionally invest in their characters from what I shouldn't say because I don't watch it. It's not fair. But if there's nobody staying on that show for more than 6 months, 8 months,
right?
How do you emotionally invest in them? And by the time you do, they're gone.
Right.
Yeah.
It just feels like a feeder league because we've seen Brian Cage, Tessa Blanchard, John Morrison, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, all these guys over the years. They're on top for a little bit. They're gone.
MVP,
yeah.
And then there's Ring of Honor, technically still in business.
Oh, really?
Right. Yeah. I mean, what's the last time we heard about Ring of Honor?
They used to be right at our heels when I was at TNA back in the day.
Yeah, AEW cannibalized from them the most in this business.
Well, ROH, they've been not running shows during the pandemic. I mean, that was them. New Japan also. New Japan only came back a couple of weeks ago. So ROH, it's their decision. They're still planning to come back. But again, they're owned by Sinclair, $1 billion company. ROH is a very, very small part of that company. So if they ever decided it's not worth it, who knows?
Yeah.
Sumed B asking, haven't they teased Heath and Rhino for Impact? And also Eric Young is Super Eric. They have teased them, yeah.
I did see that on YouTube.
Yeah, but they also teased Rusev. They teased Craig Maverick, which we know that's not happening now. Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, basically most of the people that have been released, they have teased.
But it's on a show nobody can see. No offense.
Right, Gallows and Anderson will be there though. They signed,
and that's
they came as close to signing as you can.
And that's because New Japan is their A contract, and what's this Impact crap I can do? That's their B contract.
Yeah. Wrestling Enthusiast is saying, how often can WWE use recently released talent? I mean, I think they have the 90 days. They have
anytime they want.
Yeah. Again, I wish they did it with me.
Yeah. Bring you back one more time.
I mean, I've got to think.
Yes. Guess who wouldn't have stuttered?
I wonder if this was a request by Drew. Like, if he just said, "Hey, can we get Heath on one more time? I got this idea." Because I could see something like that. Because usually they don't do this. Usually they won't bring back released talent. Who are in their 30-day non-compete or 90-day non-compete.
These are the ones to do it with. The ones that they can trust. They're company guys. Drake, you could, even though he's young, he's newer with that company in the big picture, the big scheme of things. He's trustworthy. Heath, definitely trustworthy. Zack Ryder, trustworthy. Brian Myers, trustworthy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, this very, very short match after Heath cut this promo, Drew beat him easily. And then after, but the moment at the end with Drew raising his hand and just Heath, it was just so emotional. I mean, this,
it was.
For me, I think they've really had a tough time making moments in this era. This was one of them. This is one of the best individual moments, most emotional moments they've had this year thus far.
This was very emotional. I'm not going to pretend. I teared up. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, so Dolph Ziggler had attacked or was getting in Heath Slater's face after the match, and Drew came and got rid of Ziggler, and they celebrated. Yeah, it's a cool little throwback to 3MB. Yeah.
We got any super chats or anything, Raj, before we hop in this next match?
Someone's asking to check out your N64 Rumble Pack review, 90s YouTube video.
Via 19 on MSNBC. Yes, that is on there. And people were saying in terms of feuds of the last couple of years, may have already scrolled off. I apologize. Oh, here we go. Eric with the super chat saying Bryan versus Kofi was a good one.
I thought the Kofi story was really good.
Yes.
But Daniel...
And Daniel did that match was awesome. It played into that Kofi story, but as a heated rivalry,
and if you remember, he was using that wooden belt stuff that I hated.
That was okay. Hear me out on this. I think his environmentals thing was a brilliant gimmick.
Yes,
but that wasn't a main event gimmick.
No,
nor was messing up the title. I hate when people mess up the title. I hate when Hardy did it in TNA, and I was wrestling for it. I was like, do I even really want this? If I win this, do I really want this?
That would have been a good promo.
I'm wearing another man's face around my stomach as a title. Do I really want to do this?
Yeah, I remember when Stone Cold did it when he had the Smoke and Skull belt, and it was cool as hell.
It was cool,
but it's it's like someone having a Super Bowl ring with their it just takes something away from the officialness of it.
I'm a belt mark. I'll be the first to tell you. I am. Yep.
Even when Warrior, when he would change the color of his belts, that bothered me. The strap.
With the Intercontinental, I was kind of cool. I kind of liked that. But
did he? Yeah, he did it for both, right?
I didn't know if he did for the heavyweight. I know he did Intercontinental. I know one time it was white, yellow another time.
Yeah, like a blue.
I thought it was cool for Intercontinental for whatever reason.
Yeah. Well, the belt itself was still the same. Like, they didn't make a Warrior belt. It was just the strap.
The plates are still the same, yeah.
Speaking of which, when we're talking about belts, we'll get to the U.S. belt later. But
Red Fox 44 saying Matt Morgan would be a force to be reckoned with in WWE right now. Highly underrated. Wish you the best.
Thank you, Red Fox. Greatly appreciated.
Here's a good question. While we're talking about belts, Michael the Virus is asking, Matt, your favorite straps?
And Mike, I apologize. I think that was you on Twitter. I was asking me a question about listening to the Eric Bischoff podcast. I swear. Remind me after November and elections are over. I have time. I will. Straps. Good Lord. I like all the old school title belts. Maybe because it's my childhood. Like, I like the Hulk Hogan Heavyweight Championship title, but then I liked the original the one Nick Aldis has. I love the NWA World title.
Yeah.
Minus always the winged eagle, the one that Hogan Macho Man wore.
Yeah.
That one was always my favorite of all time. I got it right behind me. That's the one belt that I actually got.
I think when they've been color coordinating them to the brands, and I have to say, I think the women's ones with the white strap and that blue that pops or the red, like I just think that's such a great look.
It does pop. Do they Velcro it now? By the way, did I
think
see
they do?
They did for a while. They stopped that though.
Please no more of that.
No.
I don't know why that bothers me, but it does. Sorry.
Which is weird because when we were kids, Velcro was the coolest thing on earth.
It was
space age technology.
Eddie
Omang.
Omang, $1.99 chat says, what about John Cena changing the WWE title? Now, when he did it with the U.S. title, I was on the show at the time. It was super popular. It worked. It was really cool when he changed the U.S. title, make it a spinner belt. The championship, yeah, I didn't like that.
I mean, there were commercials around that. I remember even at the time when I wasn't watching wrestling on USA, like that was their marketing hook.
Well, it was a huge seller.
It was a huge hit. It was a huge hit. I'm just saying, as a history fan of the business, and especially the heavyweight championship, I didn't like it.
Same here. And that's one of the things I don't like about the new belts is it's just the brand, like the WWE championship. It's just the big W, and that's it. Like before, when you had it had more design, it had more going on.
Yeah, bro, guys, listen, Glenn, you made a good point about the women's titles and whatnot. But at the end of the day, all of their titles, men's, women's, it all looks like WWE Hall of Fame ring.
Right.
They all look just like it, but it's a belt. It's boring.
Steve Marcuccioli, $4.99 wants to ask Matt, when you were close to going back to WWE, did they promise anything big with your creative? What was that in 2014?
No. I'll be honest. I'll be coming back to the Rumble as a surprise entrant and take it from there. And it was all brand new. Like it wasn't maybe but like a couple weeks worth that I knew this. And then there came Jackson, and that like changed everything, man. And I wasn't planning on not going back either. I was excited. But then I was so excited to be a dad. It's weird.
Well, this is what we were talking about earlier, like with Sarah Logan. I think that it's the universe giving you a great amount of clarity when you're not under contract, when you're between that situation and the opportunity to start a family. Because I think for a performer, it's got to be one of the toughest things, right? I mean, could you imagine, Matt, having that situation if you were already a year in or 2 years into the run?
I've always told people I'd have to go chase that money. Yeah. Because I've invested that much of my time and my body. Now I'm a rookie, finally on the main roster. I'd have to keep going. But look what happened. My son ended up being diagnosed 2 years later as nonverbal autistic. Like, God works in mysterious ways. That was the right decision for me. My wife needs me home with him.
Monopoly Man, $5 says, who should have a manager next in WWE?
Ooh, Monopoly Man. I like your questions. Oh, God. Bobby.
Bobby does.
The right manager. Oh, wait, it's MVP. Duh. I'm sorry. I don't know why I was going to think on that again. Sorry. But you're right. MVP is a very good manager, but I still think that's fair. What do you guys think?
I was thinking Dominic Dijakovic with MVP. I feel like he's got the size and everything. He needs a little killer instinct. I think MVP, if he adds another big guy and then someone like an Apollo Crews or someone like that, I think it'd be cool.
You guys are going to make fun of me for this, but this is where I think better managers would be the old school managers. I'm being serious. Like if he was still with us, like Paul Bearer would be great for Dominic. A Cornette type would be perfect. Mm-hmm. We don't have those type of managers anymore because they killed them. They killed them off. So there's talents aren't trying to be managers anymore, which back in the day they were. You had people trying to get into the business to be a manager specifically. And we don't have that now. And it's a lost art. And
MVP, he's starting to get there. The only problem is he wrestles all the time as well, so it's hard to take him in only that role.
They got to stop doing that with him if you want us to make, but he does great with everything he does. I got to be honest. He's talented.
So we had some great stuff tonight with the women, specifically Kairi Sane versus Sasha Banks. Later, of course, we had Asuka versus Bayley. But yeah,
Wow.
Kairi being back tonight. It's now, correct me if I'm wrong, Raj. I don't remember her. She hasn't been gone that long, right?
Weren't you all saying she was done?
I mean, that was the rumor.
Yeah, she's. This is supposed to be like one of her last appearances.
Oh wow.
So she was injured in that match with Nia like a month
That's
ago, where she got cut open. But yeah, she's back now. The word is that she is going back to Japan after this and be with her husband, and so she's just finishing up her a couple of TV. So my guess would be she loses next week, and then they move on, or shortly after that. But that is the story. Is she's supposed to be finishing with the company here.
Well, so this tonight was an interesting match. I mean, some good back and forth in this. Kairi technically won by DQ, but Bayley interfered, and the ref called for disqualification. It's interesting that they're leaning now so much on Sasha and Bayley to a lesser extent with Asuka, but just looking at where the ratings were last Wednesday on NXT, I mean, I think they know that this is something that keeps people's attention. It's nice to see them finally giving some real credit and showtime to these women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Sasha Io match was the highest rated quarter this year in NXT. So
Yeah.
it made a big difference.
This was followed. We had the Kevin Owens show tonight with Seth Rollins. We saw the Viking Raiders backstage with the Big Show walking up. This set up a 6-man tag match for later in the evening. Kevin Owens show had Seth Rollins come out with Murphy, interrupted by Rey Mysterio and Dominic, and this ended up setting up a Rollins and Murphy versus Rey Mysterio and Kevin Owens match. So, Raj, how far along is Dominic in his wrestling training at this point, where he's not even? I mean, he got to like one little spot tonight, but
gosh, when do we interview Ray? Because he talked a lot about Dominic's training. That was last summer, so a year ago, and Dominic was pretty green in there. So
gotcha.
He still has a ways to go, but I'm sure he could do a tag match or something short where they plan out all the spots and everything.
Yeah, that was interesting that they're just keeping him so much out of the action here. But they made the big thing tonight that the winner was going to get the stipulation. And Raj, to your and my chagrin, it's not going to be a blindfold match at Extreme Rules. It's going to be an eye for an eye match, and they're gonna tear out an actual human eyeball for the loser of this match at Extreme Rules.
No, they're not.
Well, I hope not.
But that's my point, Matt. That's why it's so stupid what they said for Ray to be like, we won it. It's going to be an eye for an eye match, and we're going to take your eye, Seth Rollins, if you lose. I mean,
so folks, what he's right. We're supposed to be cheering one man on while he tries to take another man's vision away.
Right. It's
I
like
mean, it's so dumb.
The winner of the match is the first one to saw their opponent's arm off. It's just so freaking stupid. Like stips like this just take you out of it. It's just such a.
Although if Samoa Joe, when he was terrorizing AJ Styles, had made the tip, if I win, I'm going to be your kid's new daddy and married Wendy. Like I would have popped for that. If that would have been
that's a little different.
But no, I mean, this was ridiculous. And it's funny, though, Raj, I thought they were going to say blindfold match. I really did, because with all the vision angle, it would have been a disaster, but it would have at least been interesting.
It's too bad because you got Seth and Ray, who could have an awesome regular match. And now, with this blindfold match, I mean, not the blindfold match, geez, the eye for an eye, it's just going to be them doing eye gouging and, just constantly trying to go for each other's eye as opposed to, having...
Eye gouging.
Yeah. Well, just constantly trying to ram their eyes in the buckle and in the steps.
And, I mean, Matt, I don't know how much eye play you ever had in your matches, but I think about the care that performers take to protect one another, and I have to think that with the eye, that would be an area that you really, really, really want to make sure you don't actually cause any damage to, even inadvertently. So I think that's why it never looks believable to me when they make that a focal point of a match.
Yes. You can do little things. Take the guy's face, and like Jesse Ventura used to do it all the time, and rake it across the top rope. It's going to be old, corny, carny stuff. But then it's going to get graphic, right? He's going to have to try to take his face and ram it in the stairs, right? Like in the corner of the stairs.
But I think Seth's going to lose. I think he's going to show up the next night on Raw with an eye patch. That's my prediction.
Yes.
Well, Ray, if he's not under contract right now,
No.
I don't think they want him beating Seth. So unless Ray signs, I could very easily see them not.
It would actually be awesome though for Ray if it was his other eye and they made like a Daredevil gimmick that like Ray had heightened senses and was in kayfabe blind. That would actually be pretty awesome. I would go for that all day long.
Yeah. Here, let's get a couple more of these super chats. Richard, first off, my old friend Richard. Hey, how's it going, Richard? He's saying, well, I'll get the first interview with Heath after tonight. Thank you, my friend. Terry Allen Jr. saying, Matt, have you seen the PS5? Your son would be glad to own one. Then the family plays the games.
Huh. No, I have not seen it. I feel very behind the times right now. Is it badass, the PS5?
It is a very different look.
I haven't seen it.
My recommendation, Matt, is don't even think about getting one until after the election. If they come out this fall. Like, it's going to take up a lot of time. Here, I'll find the photo of the design. It's crazy looking.
While you're getting that, Tony Starks is saying, why hasn't there been a heel versus heel main event at Mania? We got face versus face a few times. Is WWE scared of the crowd reaction? Yeah, I mean, it would be. So technically, Orton versus Batista, and Daniel Bryan had to win his match to get inserted in that main event.
Yes.
I mean, that would have died if that didn't have Daniel Bryan in it.
Yes, it would have, and there's good reason for it. Why would you want to close off a stadium show, no less, that big, with, people aren't going to be cheering?
So there's the PS5.
It looks like...
Why do they always do that? They try to be cool and always turn it sideways. Like, seriously. They did that with the other ones, too. Don't you remember?
From a heat point of view, it actually makes sense. Like, my PS4 gets so hot that I've got it in a cabinet. I have to keep the cabinet open. I had to put hockey pucks underneath it to elevate it so it could get some airflow.
Yeah.
So I understand, like, that's a better way to do it, but that doesn't fit in any home entertainment room.
No, it does not.
Yeah, because I have to lay it vertically, and so I don't.
Yeah.
That doesn't look like wood. Yeah.
Yeah, the stack, exactly. That was always a big deal with the Genesis. The Genesis had to go on top because the cartridges went in the top of the unit.
Yes, it did. On top of the Nintendo. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Kids these days don't know that pain, man.
Yeah. Someone, Don Flamenco, which I love that. Oh,
Tremendous
Dom
name.
Flamenco. Do you think Adam Cole can save Raw?
No.
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 If you don't like Raw the way it is, there's no one talent that's going to save it.
No. Hulk Hogan can save it. Nobody can save it. No.
WWE, they have this formula where they could keep it going for as long as, ratings keep dropping every year, popularity keeps dropping every year. But they have this formula where they just don't make anyone larger than life superstar so they could easily interchange talent and keep them, the company is always the biggest.
Yeah.
Horizontally is what yes. So.
MVP and Bobby Lashley.
The things that bother Raj are hilarious.
No, they were right. I didn't mean horizontally.
So we got the new U.S. title tonight.
I liked it. It's different, I like the belt designs when it still looks different from the other belts, and that's one thing I always like with the U.S. title is it still always looks different because it has the flag ingrained into it.
Me too. The Intercontinental, though, I did not like that.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I like the old school Intercontinental.
Yeah.
But
me too. I still don't know what the Intercontinental looks like right now. If you told me, I can tell you.
yeah, if I showed you 10 belts and it didn't have the wording on it, I wouldn't be able to tell.
I don't think I could either. The first bad run of their belts was when they made the tag team title belts with the two like warrior faces or whatever on it. That was the beginning.
Or that time when they had the tag titles and it was pennies. It looked like little pennies.
Yes, with the two warrior heads on it. But
Don't we still have those? Aren't those still the tag titles?
Those might still be, yeah.
I'm pretty sure they may be. Well, I think they're silver now at best, but yes.
Yeah. Monopoly Man, $2 saying Asuka's badass. Yes, she is.
Hell yes, she is.
So then we had MVP and Bobby Lashley versus Cedric Alexander and Ricochet, with MVP and Bobby Lashley getting the win.
This did a great feature on Ricochet. I watched it last night on the network.
Yeah, 365.
On 365. What a great... I don't even know if to call him a kid. I don't know how old he is. But what a great whippersnapper this young up-and-comer is. Seriously, he's an interesting story. And there goes WWE. They think they're capitalizing on it by having him be part of a match that he loses.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd time to be airing that because he basically got killed by Brock and then has been like just used as enhancement talent since. So it's the timing's weird.
I don't get why.
I think they started filming this, Matt, thinking he was going to be the WWE champion, and then they were like, "Well, we've got all this footage."
I didn't think they thought he was going to be champion, but I thought they thought he'd be higher up.
Yes, definitely thought he'd be higher up, but that's not his fault. Okay, I know you guys don't like his promos. His promos could have improved, and the promos will improve when you think the company is backing you up. You automatically get more comfortable. It just happens.
I actually thought his promo tonight was a lot better.
There we go.
It was actually one of his better ones he's done since he's been with the company.
I just don't get it. He's a movie star. Six-pack abs, looks like $1 million. His ring work is insanity. Did you see Xavier Woods' reaction to him after one of his matches? He's just like, "You're not supposed to be able to do any of that."
Jackson Collins bringing up in the match that flip that Ricochet did off of Bobby's chest. And
yeah.
I remember seeing Seth Rollins do that back in ROH, like outside the ring with some bigger guys when he was Tyler Black. I always thought that was really cool looking.
Didn't Jimmy Wang Yang? I don't know who invented it. I could have sworn I used to be in the corner selling, and he would run at where I'm standing in the corner, and he'd run and do like this, look like he kicked me, but he'd jump off my chest and do a backflip out of it, and then run at me again in the corner with something offensively again. Jimmy Wang Yang was underrated.
Yeah. A couple more of these super chats. Justin Lopez with the $5 super chat saying this new U.S. title looks like a modern day version of the WCW U.S. title,
which I'm okay with.
Yeah, I feel like those old school belts, 90s, 80s, there was just so much in them that they just looked awesome. Justin Lopez with another one saying the new U.S. title is better than the new IC title, definitely. And I agree, IC title used to be my favorite as well. And then TJ Pamali, why does WWE not like pairing shorter talent with managers taller than them? If shorter talents do get paired with someone taller than them, they're considered lackeys or muscle. Why is that? I mean, I could see that. You don't want your manager looking more imposing than you, right?
No, that's death. That's death to a wrestler usually.
Although, I'm just thinking about this, Matt. You're talking about multi-man moves. Did you ever do, and I'm surprised I haven't seen this, you and Drake Maverick could have done this. Remember in the X-Men, the fastball special that Colossus would do when he would throw Wolverine at someone essentially?
Yeah.
Yeah, how come nobody's ever tried that with these big guy, small guy pairings? There's a lot you could do with that.
It's true.
But didn't Power and Glory used to do that, where Hercules bench press Paul Roma and Paul Roma did the splash off the top, while Hercules heaved him off?
We call it a rocket launcher.
Yeah, there was the Air Enzo.
It's just a basic tag maneuver where you go to the corner, your guy's on the top rope ready to jump off, but instead you make it look like you're heaving them for extra, and you just pantomime that. You really don't throw the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Monopoly Man.
Monopoly Man's all over.
I know. Io Shirai and Asuka should team up.
Ooh. They're both but here's the thing, they're both huge single stars, especially Asuka.
Yeah.
They used to have some heat in Japan. I don't know if that ever got...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In real life?
Yeah, in real life, yeah.
Well, wait, time out. We can't move forward. I need to hear this.
Let me look it up, because I don't want to get it wrong exactly what it was over, but...
I'll do this. You look it up. Red Fox, 44 Super Chat, 499 Super Chat rather, says, the WWE tag titles are the worst. Who would want to fight for those if this was legitimate? Honestly. You guys don't like my accentuations of... that's how Red Fox said it, I think.
I know.
Let's see.
All right, so here we go. Here's the...
I would, because it means more money.
Yeah.
So Io and Asuka, they have heat going back to Mexico. They were, Japan. They were part of a stable called Triple Tails. Stardom started courting Io, and Io left for Stardom, and anyway, Asuka had real life heat with her over that, seeing Io go in there as a betrayal, and so they had some bad blood. But I'm sure that's probably been worked out.
They were originally with what, New Japan?
They were originally with a promotion called Neo, and then Io Shirai went to Stardom.
Was her name Io Shirai over there?
Yeah.
Huh. How come I never heard of her over there? Asuka, I did.
Asuka used to have, what was her name?
Kana?
Damn it.
Kana, yeah. But yeah, Io Shirai still, she had the same name.
Well, I wonder why they didn't trademark her name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, they even acknowledged that when they brought Asuka in to WWE.
What'd they say?
Triple H gave a speech about it, and Asuka was an homage to another Asian wrestling talent, wasn't it originally?
I forget.
I'm just remembering because this happened on NXT TV.
Because they did a great job with Asuka. I love her character.
Mm-hmm.
Her entrance, everything's always been pretty
No, I'm
dope.
sorry, Kana, not Hana. I apologize.
Yeah, Kana.
You said that, I thought.
Yeah, you said Kana.
I just say Kana?
Yeah.
Just making sure. And her real name is Kanako, so that all makes sense.
Next match, folks.
Next match, we had the backstage ahead of the 6-man, and Ric Flair was there with Randy Orton.
Why wouldn't he be?
Maybe Rick's just hanging out at the PC, maybe he's on the outs with the current wife, and he's like, hey, can I just crash in the Performance Center for a while? Things are a little hot at home. But we had the Big Show and the Viking Raiders versus Randy Orton, Andrade, and Angel Garza.
Wait, you forgot the ninjas running by.
Oh, yeah. So, R-Truth thought that somehow Akira Tozawa was disguised as Ric Flair.
I thought that. I popped for that.
But then it occurred to me, has no one ever done this before? Because I love body swap movies. Whether it's The First Power or vice versa, or even Quantum Leap. And Matt, could you imagine a gimmick or a wrestler?
Sam Beckett.
Yes. Like, we had a wrestler, but the wrestler had the ability to switch wrestlers, and it could be the same character portrayed by all these different wrestlers. I'm telling you, it's a little insane.
Or they did it Mission Impossible style, where Ric Flair then pulls his mask off and he is R-Truth. I mean, he is a Tozawa.
But I'm telling you, I want to see a body swap. I want Randy Orton and R-Truth to swap bodies and have to play the other one. I think that would be TV gold for at least a month.
I swear to you, could pull it off. There's nothing he can't pull off.
Yeah.
I'm being serious.
Yeah.
He's so entertaining. Even in this little segment, this was just great.
It's cool. It's always cool kind of seeing Andrade and Ric Flair because, Andrade, engaged to Charlotte Flair. So.
Yep.
That's right. So the 6-man tag, Randy Orton, Andrade, and Angel Garza got the win. I mean,
they beat the Viking Raiders in the Big Show.
Yeah, when's the last time you were excited for a 6-man tag?
Never, because they do it all the time. And I don't like the Viking Warriors. I don't like saying that. Viking Raiders, sorry.
I mean, the last time I'm really excited for a 6-man tag was when they did the Shield versus the Wyatt family, like 7 years ago, or whatever that was, which was awesome. But yeah, they overdo these 6-man tags. I thought they made Angel Garza look like a punk out there with Randy Orton. When Randy Orton was chewing him out outside of the ring, I felt like it was kind of burying him. It just made Randy Orton look like a much bigger star, much tougher guy, and Angel Garza almost like this kid. I don't know. I didn't like it. Yeah, Alonzo Smith bringing it up, saying Randy Orton yelling at Angel Garza tonight at ringside like he was his father. Yeah,
good point. I mean, the fans are all picking up on it. I'll be honest. If I saw that backstage, I'd be like, "Damn, he's getting buried right now. What are they doing?" You know what I mean? If I was on, what?
I was gonna say, if you think that that was burial, I think what happened with Ruby Riott and Billie Kay was even worse. To have Ruby come up to the Iconics backstage, talk some smack, then have this one-on-one match, and just, I mean, if you went to the bathroom, you missed this match. It was so fast.
It was.
Now, Ruby Riott hasn't, go back to it. I don't know how you're supposed to take her seriously when she hasn't watched one on TV since last February. And when I say last February, I mean a year ago in February. So.
No, you're right. You're right.
So, I mean, they're building up to Liv Morgan whenever she does return. So Liv and Ruby Riott versus the Iconics. But I guess Ruby's going to keep getting beat until then.
I honestly, I had no problem with this. I like the Iconics. I like Billy Kay.
I kind of agree with you. I had no problem with this either.
I think that they got a bad deal because of their timing of when they got pulled up to the main roster. In your face, Justin. Up to the main roster. Because like all these young NXT talents in the women's division are freaking awesome, right? And then you've got the main event level women at the time, Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, so on and so forth. It put them in a weird spot. And I want to see them pick up where I thought they left off a while back. I think they're talented as hell. I think they're funny as hell. I think they're entertaining. And they present different looks as well, for what it's worth. And and I think they're a legitimate tag team. I believe they're best friends. I believe they ride together. I believe if someone were to jump one in the parking lot, the other would jump. You know what I mean? I believe they're a real team.
You know what's funny about? I'm sorry.
They had Billy Kay. Remember, like 2 months ago when Billy Kay slapped Peyton Royce? They kind of never went anywhere with that.
Which I'm happy because I don't want to see them fight.
It's actually interesting. They've toned down their shtick a bit, but what's funny if you look at what Bayley especially is doing now. Bayley and Sasha are actually doing a better version of what the Iconics were doing.
To be fair, it's a Mean Girl routine. We've seen this 1,000 times over the years. We have. Back to Michelle McCool days. Michelle McCool did a good job of it. What's her name? What was the other one? What, Raj?
Well, I was going to say Angelina Love and Velvet Sky and
were the original.
Yeah, they crushed it. I thought they were the best. What were they called?
Beautiful People.
The Beautiful People, yes.
And they brought Madison Rayne as the third party member. That's how good they were. And then they even brought Lacey in. And then, great. Lacey was green, but she was able to make it work too.
It was Layla L and Michelle McCool.
Yeah, Layla L and Michelle McCool then did it after them. I remember it because it was still happening. It was still on our TV. Beautiful People were still doing their thing while Michelle and them started doing it again after them. But so girls have done this before. I will say Bayley though is pretty freaking funny right now. She does pop me.
We said this the other night, Raj. You miss so much on this podcast when you're not here, but about how Bayley has benefited so much from no audience. Because I think that this stuff wasn't going over as well with people there, but it works now in this current environment.
Yeah. I think she's getting more comfortable as a heel every week. And,
definitely. She's funny. She pops the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Terrence Whitted with the super chat that I always wonder. What would happen if a wrestler decided to go rogue and win a match or championship when they were slated to lose?
Terrence, do you know how many times I've sat in the locker room and go, they say I got to lose to Jeff tonight. What would they do if I just didn't get off them when I'm pinning them? Do I take the belt and just run? What do I do? What would happen? No, no, you don't think about that.
Yeah.
Who is it? Who is it? It was Earthquake and Koji Katao. Remember that back in Japan?
No.
In it's like 1991, 1992, where Katao didn't want to lose to Earthquake, and he started shooting on him in the match, and then Earthquake started shooting back. The match is on YouTube, and then finally he got on the mic. He's like, "All this is fake," and I was booked here to lose to this fake wrestler, and just left, and that was it for Katao.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he ever wrestle again?
No, I think that was it. He was definitely fired from. I believe it was New Japan.
That's kind of markish. What a marky thing to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Like now, all of a sudden, like you're a real wrestler. Like, come on, dude. Everyone else lay down for you.
Yeah. It's a pretty famous match. So if you look it up, it wasn't New Japan. It was SWS, Super World of Sports. But WWF had a partnership with them back then. And yeah,
Monopoly Man wants to know, is Vince giving up on Shayna? I think he did a while ago, and she's actually on Main Event, I believe, this week.
Yep.
Monopoly Man's just turning over money, hand over cash. You're Raj's favorite person tonight, Monopoly Man.
But we've been saying this for months. Like she's not the kind of wrestler that Vince is going to be high on. And I mean, we call it from when she was getting the WrestleMania match, so no surprise there.
Red Fox 44, Garza was portrayed as a scrub. He's a hot act. I feel like they go back and forth with all of Zelina's stable. Like, it just depends on the week and who they're wrestling.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And Ryan L. wants to know, does Seth go over Rey at Extreme Rules?
I think he does.
I don't even care. No, I'm being serious. I don't care about this feud.
Yeah, they kind of squandered
Do
it. It
you?
should be the hottest feud in wrestling with, what was at
Should
stake.
it, though?
It should be, yeah.
If
When
you
you
saw
have,
on
promos?
paper that a man's eyesight was taken from him.
yeah, if you're explaining it to a non-fan that someone's eye was taken out and his son is out for revenge, it's like it could make a good movie.
Roger,
But,
I want to see you film Man on the Street style. You should do this. This is $1 million idea for Wrestling Inc. when society reopens. You should go Man on the Street and describe wrestling feuds to people and see how interested they are.
Yeah.
And be like, where's this guy? He's the Monday Night Messiah. Oh, does he come out and preach? Well, not really. You can just sit there and,
Oh
get
my
their
God.
You have to skip
want-
that part.
I want that job. Can that be my new job?
Yeah.
That
I
would be
bet-
fun.
Yeah, I bet if you explain some of these storylines, they come across as much better than when you actually see them played out.
Or the comedy from the people's reactions to it.
Right, yeah.
take. I think it would be good.
Until you get to the part where you're like, and then they have a match where you can only win by pulling the other guy's eye out.
And when the guy like pushes the guy, he actually hits the ropes and bounces back at him.
That'd be good. You tell someone, yeah, he took his eyes. Like, oh, well, did he have like a dismemberment insurance policy, perhaps, or something to compensate for his loss of vision? I mean, people would ask questions. It'd be some unpredictable comedy.
Real quick, Bernie DC pointing out that the Kitao incident happened after they put him and Tenryu over Demolition at WrestleMania 7. That's right. They randomly had Kitao and Tenryu against Demolition at WrestleMania. I think that was the only time they ever teamed in WWF, and they beat Demolition. So Kitao has a WrestleMania win and still had a problem putting over Earthquake in Japan.
TJ
Wow.
What
Pamali.
a mark. What a mark.
Going into business for yourself.
Yes, TJ Pamali, as it were.
As it were. Leon's Duncan, $2. Bailey was kind of emo at first. This is much better. Yeah, her comedy version, when she was playing it serious, just looking kind of disgruntled, that wasn't nearly as entertaining.
No, I'm telling you, they've changed. They're changing my mind. Both she and Sasha. Huge fan of Sasha when she first hit. They blew the deal with her when she had Snoop walk her out at WrestleMania. That night, she should have been the most famous women's wrestler, in my opinion, from that moment on. But they killed it. And now she's, what she's doing right now with Bailey, and her matches are frigging 5-star. They're great matches.
Well, and this match tonight with Asuka and Bailey being in the main event, I mean, this was great. Nikki Cross was out there on commentary. She's going to be facing Bailey for the SmackDown Women's Championship at Extreme Rules. So I was trying to remember this. Bailey's never beat Asuka, has she? She never got the win back. After, I think they faced each other once or twice in between this. But I mean, famously, Asuka took the NXT Women's title off Bailey. So I like that they're saving that chance for her to have like a clean victory somewhere down the line. But I thought it was a little kind of cartoony to have Nikki Cross pounding on the glass, and that freaked Bailey out, and that's why she lost.
I thought Nikki was irritating as
She was.
She was just so irritating in this whole match. I thought this match went a little too long.
You think the match was good though itself, besides the Nikki stuff?
I thought it was okay. I thought it was a little sloppy at points, but I thought it was, again, it just dragged for too long. And it was kind of one of those when you're looking at your clock and you're like, oh, okay, this is going to be the full half hour. And
I liked it.
It was long.
I thought it was good. And I think as far as main events go, I mean, take this over that 6-man tag match, that's for sure.
Yes. I mean, seriously, I would rather have this as my main event if it did the 6-man.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this should have been the main event, but I just think it should have been 10 minutes shorter.
Okay.
But it was still good. Sasha, I thought, was, great on the outside. Kairi Sane was back out. It's building to their tag title match next week, so
Okay.
It was good. Again, I also thought, like, after the first hour, which I thought was really good, I just started getting more and more tired as the show went on after that, and by the main event, I was just kind of pretty beat.
Right.
All in all, though, this was an okay show. I thought the bookends, as we often speak of, were very good. Good opening, good finish.
Yes, this was a good book-ended show, Raj.
Yeah, no. I thought this was way better than last week. I thought this a big improvement for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. The beginning, first hour was good. The last, the ending was good, and then everything in the middle, it was filler.
Okay, well there you go. That's Raw. Do we got anything else, Rush?
Let's see, what else we got? No. Oh yeah, SummerSlam. SummerSlam is not going to be happening in Boston, so that's going to be at the Performance Center, and I have a feeling that the rest of the shows this year are probably going to be at the Performance Center.
And our cases are going through the roof here in Florida.
Yeah. So, we'll see. But that's right now. Yeah, SummerSlam will not. Vince was pretty hell bent on having it in an arena in front of fans, but that's not going to be happening.
Yeah,
that sucks. I just want to get back to normal so bad. We all do.
Yeah. And Monopoly Man is asking if it's canceled. No, it's not canceled. All these events are still going on as planned. It's just going to be empty-ish arena.
Yep.
Man, I mean, it's interesting. You think about WWE. I mean, it's something to watch. They're getting better with this format. I mean, they still have some health and safety stuff to figure out, but
yeah. So listen, I have a friend of mine that's an extra.
Oh.
I've got to tell you guys this. Yeah, and he was like one of the fans that gets brought. He's a local indie talent, and he in Florida here, and he goes in and he cheers, and you weren't lying, Raj. They're there like 18 hours, something insane. All right, and then when they get breaks, Raj, they go out to these. They go out to these tents. They have like these tents they're standing in.
Yeah.
With air conditioners in them that don't work, that break down, the guy said. But that's crazy.
Yeah, that's where they eat their lunches. They're not allowed to go backstage and catering. They kind of have their own little tents outside. Yeah, it's but now they have to wear masks, or they get fined. They get $500, fined $500 if they don't wear a mask. And the second time they don't do it, it's $1,000. So that's one thing that's changed.
Huh. Which is crazy because law enforcement itself does not enforce it that way. Like they say you'll get fined, but they haven't, to my knowledge.
Yeah, in Colorado, they've been punishing establishments, not necessarily single patrons. This racetrack right next to our place, they had 4th of July fireworks. It's called... It's a racetrack, but they had fireworks on the 4th of July, and they're getting in a ton of trouble with the state because they didn't practice social distancing or anything. So they're facing big fines. I don't know how they could shut them down, but that's kind of what they're talking about. But anyway,
there you have it.
There you have it.
Good 4th of July weekend, Raj. What'd you do?
Yeah, it was good. Played some golf. And then we had some family over, and we hung out in our front yard and lit up fireworks, and so yeah, it was fun.
Nice. Matt, how about you?
Nothing.
No, there you go.
Just neighbors shot some stuff off here and there. Scared the crap out of my son.
Our dog was just freaking out all night. I felt so bad.
Yeah, he's super sensitive to it. So we got to get headphones on him and things like that.
Yeah.
But try to get him to, with his headphones on, to try to come and look through the window at least, just to discover him a little bit. He did good last year. We were able to watch the fireworks from the top of like a parking garage, and like the fireworks were honestly 5 football fields away, I'd say. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And he did okay like that, actually.
So he likes the visual of them. It's just the sound.
Yeah, I think it's yes.
Yeah.
And being right on top of the house like that, like a lot of these fireworks were, it was scaring him a little bit. He was curious, but then he'd go and then run back away from it with his headphones on. Yeah.
Oh, understandable. Yeah, they were lighting them off here, like the 3rd, 4th, and last night. Fireworks were still going off around here. I don't know. They were. I mean, I thought fireworks were really cool when I was, 12, but we didn't have the internet then.
Did you do anything, Glenn?
Not really. Stayed in and watched Hamilton over 2 nights on Disney Plus. It's very good.
Worth it?
I mean, if we got Disney Plus, dude, it's worthwhile. I mean, I still think it's the greatest musical I've ever seen. Matt, you'd like it because it's about American history, hip hop, and politics. So it's right there. Just three
check it
things
out,
Matt
then.
Morgan
So
enjoys.
why wouldn't I like that though?
Well, you'd like it too. You know.
I like most of
No,
those
it was
things.
good. I mean, I was playing
Yeah,
wrestling. It
it's
was
awesome.
fun seeing wrestling Twitter discover Hamilton and talking about it over the weekend. I mean, I think it was probably the most watched thing. But no, it was good. We did that. We just sort of hung out and yeah, just didn't do much. So it's nice. But tomorrow we took today off too. So tomorrow it's back in full swing with work. And I just can't believe the year's already half over. Like here we are going into the back half of the year, and it's just flying by. And I mean, I'm just thinking
I
about
don't know if
everyone
it's
out
flying
there.
by.
Well, I
I
feel
mean,
like
WrestleMania was 3 months ago, and that feels like, a year ago.
yeah.
Anyway,
Anyhow, guys, so Wednesday night 2 of Fighter Fest at Great American Bash. Me, myself, Matt Morgan, Justin LeBar. Be here to talk about that. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane. Catch you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.